marching in co-working spaces, will it help this entrepreneurial spirit soar? Is it worth the time and energy?
The second graduating class of Generator, the founder of one of Madison's newest startups. Please welcome Dine Time's own Leora Greenburg.
Thank you so much for allowing me here to be here tonight. Thank you, Zach, and the Chamber of Commerce. It's a tremendous opportunity, and I am so excited to be able to share with you an overview of the landscape of the entrepreneurial experience here in Madison and how the city of Madison has really shaped my success and my entrepreneurial journey. Now, I'm actually not originally from Madison, and that's really a story within itself. So if any of you in the audience have children between the ages of 3 and 6, there's a slight chance you may have recognized me from before, but I wouldn't be offended if you can't recognize me at this point. And that's because I did something a little bit different with my hair. So actually, this is me performing 3 years ago before I moved out to Madison at Alliant Energy Center right here, performing with the nationally touring show Sesame Street Live. Now, if you think it's a bizarre transition from touring the world as every child's favorite furry idol to business owner, let me try to bridge that gap. First, making the decision to step out of my comfort zone and leave my friends, family, and home behind for 10 months at a time requires a really strong sense of calculated risk. Next, waking up in a different city every day and a different hotel, you have to be really accustomed to drastic change at a rapid pace. And lastly, every entrepreneur in some shape or form wants to change the world. So when it came time for me to hang up that Elmo suit and pick my next big adventure, out of the hundreds of cities that I had visited, Madison was the city that stood out for me. As a young professional, I found it to be a fun, vibrant, overflowing with opportunity, and it was exactly the kind of place that I knew that I wanted to live long term. So I began my career in Madison as an advertising sales representative for Capital Newspapers. So for the local business owners out there, you may recognize my voice, my face, or my fist pounding on your doors or windows, asking you for a brief 5 to 10 minutes of your time in order to increase your business. So after Capital Newspapers, I had my first introduction to the Madison startup community, which really changed everything. I was hired to work as head of local sales at Snowshoe. It's a local tech-based company specializing in mobile security and authentication. As I got more involved with Snowshoe, my entrepreneurial skills were slowly starting to develop, but to be totally honest, I didn't know I was an entrepreneur. I'm not going to stand here and tell you I've been a seasoned serial entrepreneur since the age of 5, because I wasn't. I knew the skills that I possessed for the work environment. I knew that I was creative and an outside-of-the-box thinker, but I never even thought what that meant in terms of taking that next leap and starting something on my own. So I'm here to talk to those people, the people who are like me, the people who lie awake at night solving big problems or sketching prototypes on the back of their takeout menus. For the people who have the desire to create big ideas and the urge to execute them, but don't know how to take that next step. My big idea was to solve restaurant waitlist management issues by developing a software that enabled restaurants to send text message notifications to waiting patrons instead of those coasters that they give you in order to notify you when your table is ready. So I handcrafted fancy business plan on a cocktail napkin and pitched it at an event called Startup Weekend. And now for those of you who don't know what Startup Weekend is, they're intensive 54-hour events where startup enthusiasts come together to share ideas, form teams, and build products. So after 2 days, 3 nights, and a whole lot of Red Bull, we were able to develop a full working prototype, and Dine and Time was born. So that weekend, that same exact weekend that the prototype was developed, one of the co-founders of Generator approached me and said, listen, you have a great idea. What you need are resources and the support to help you get to that next level. So I thought about it for 24 hours, applied for the program, and our business was accepted and entered the Bootcamp Accelerator 1 month later, this past January. Despite these fortunate series of events that came to me, it's still starting a business. And every business goes through its peaks and valleys. For instance, in the first month of the Generator program, I lost my entire team, and I essentially became a one-woman act. The first startup lesson I learned: don't be a founder of a software company when you don't have anyone to build the software. So yet again, that's where Generator swooped in, connecting me with a multiple assortment of people within the community, valuable mentors, investors, and advisors within this community, and used their internal network to help me put together an all-star team and also to help me build out the software. Now, Dine and Time is a growing company and building its customer base right here in Madison, and we're also expanding out into Milwaukee. So Dine and Time isn't actually the only Generator company that's making an impact here in Madison. There's companies like Agodo, Eat Street, Mobile Igniter, and those are just 3 of the 16 companies that are adding jobs and helping local businesses with the tools that they've developed. In fact, over 75 jobs have come from Generator in less than 2 years. Because these businesses are all local and centralized here, we are creating a noticeable presence. We live local, we shop local, we use local resources, and we inject that money right back into the society that helped us start our business. As startup founders and employees, we have a duty here in Madison to know that we're part of a growing network and larger community. It's also important that we know that this is the only way to succeed is to connect with these assets around us. So after graduating the Generator program, Dine and Time has continued its momentum and partnered with another local staple, the Old Fashioned. The support from them has been absolutely incredible, and with their feedback, we've been able to develop a product that will revolutionize the way restaurants interact and engage with their guests. And Dine and Time's milestones have been met with great feelings of accomplishment, of course, but with that comes feelings of great fear. Fear that the software will break, fear that our customers will hate the product, fear of the unknown and what's to come of the business, because just starting out, you really don't know what's coming next, and there wasn't a lot that we had figured out at the time. As a business owner, and I'm sure that most of you can relate, it's easy to concentrate on the micro details and at times lose sight of that big picture. And so last week we were piloting new upgrades at the Old Fashioned when I overheard 2 diners talking about our product. They were saying, what great technology this was and why hadn't anyone thought of something so convenient before. And it was at that moment that I was able to look around at the crowded restaurant, at the hosts using our software with ease, and it was the first time that I fully realized the positive impact our software had on businesses and the magnitude of what startup entrepreneurs can be capable of. So for those of you who have been in business for 5, 10, 50 years, I can only hope that I can get to where you are one day. But I also challenge you to take a step back and remember those moments when you were starting out as an aspiring business owner and felt those initial feelings of pride and confidence in your products and the future of what was to come. What I love about Madison is regardless of the size or stage of any business, we are all connected together and can help each other reach that next step. So in closing, I'd really like to thank the incredible support that programs like Generator, American Family, and the University of Wisconsin is providing by encouraging, incubating, and investing in startups like mine, in addition to the growing network of other startup spaces and organizations. And for others like me, with a desire to create, to innovate, and to build, know that when you do decide to take that entrepreneurial leap, you'll be joining a thriving culture forming within our ecosystem here in Madison to help support your new venture. Thank you very much and enjoy the rest of your evening.